Good morning, I'm Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you, talking to you about you and your business. Got a lot to talk about on today's program. We'd like to bring on attorney Marc Krasney and to talk about some things that you as a business owner should be thinking about, some things as a business owner you should be talking about in order to put your business in the best possible place. Marc Krasney with KrasneyLaw.com, KrasneyLawFirm.com, Krasney. Always love what you have to bring, and you've got a unique business model. Talk about your business model and then introduce your topic for us.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Kevin. What we did probably 8 years ago now is add to the firm a general counsel program. And so what that means is for a flat fee per month, depending on the client's needs, we will act as your in-house counsel. And so we draft documents, review documents, phone calls, HR issues, employment issues, those kind of things to allow a smaller or medium-sized company who can't afford the typical in-house counsel the ability to consult with a law firm without the surprise legal bills. And in the 8 years or so we've done it, it's been a pretty successful campaign, and we're quite proud of it.
Yeah, it sounds like it. It sounds like you should be. Talk about your topic for us today.
Well, what I was thinking about were business divorces, and in addition to what I just described our law firm's offered is the general counsel program, we've also begun doing personal divorces and focused on collaborative law, and it's that collaborative law element that I wanted to discuss with your listeners today, because while it's applied in the family law setting for divorce, and really a lot of what we've done in business divorces translates over into personal divorces, this collaborative law process could be applied in business divorces and in a lot of lawsuits going forward for those businesses. And so now you might ask, what's collaborative law, right?
Sure, I'm sure a lot of people are.
Collaborative law is this new thing that I really hadn't heard of until the last few months, but it's been on the books in the family law process for some time, and I believe they're trying in the state legislature to get something passed to allow it to be adopted in the civil context. And basically what that means is, and I'm going to apply it just in the personal divorce family law realm, when a party comes in and hires my law firm, we sign a contract that says we will only agree to do this on a collaborative law theory, which means in the event you go to litigation, you got to find a new lawyer. Same thing with the other side. They have to agree, that lawyer has to agree to only do collaborative law, or only this process. And in the event they want to go to litigation, find a new lawyer. And so parties then meet and sit around a table for this meeting and discuss the facts with a couple of other parties present, which is the difference here. The other parties would be a financial planner, somebody who can actually look at and see the assets, the debts, the liabilities, and discuss how this faces, what the people would face going forward, and also a licensed therapist, because so many times there's emotional issues. Now, why in the world would this matter for the civil context and businesses? Well, to me, just imagine if you have a dispute with a vendor, a customer, even a business partner, someone in the business, how great would it be to have a collaborative law theory or a concept where, with the addition of these other parties, you might get a settlement a lot faster and avoid litigation. And the last thing I'd say is, much of what my firm focuses on is avoiding litigation and trying to get clients to get to a settlement that is amicable, cheaper, and hopefully a stronger resolution to allow the business to go forward.
Yeah. Sounds like a great idea. And so, but this is relatively new outside of the marriage and family law arena.
Well, it doesn't really exist outside of the family law arena yet. The statute only applies in the family code. It would be nice if it did get applied in the civil code or in the civil setting, so that in the event there was a dispute, this concept could be applied so as to avoid litigation, because as you know, once lawyers get involved, judges, courtroom, all those pleadings, discovery, depositions, all that stuff, on an hourly rate, that gets so expensive. And while this isn't cheap, it's cheaper because the focus is how do we get the parties to an amicable resolution so that both sides feel like they got something and can move on.
Yeah, and I would think it'd be a lot cheaper because the objective is completing and not retaliating.
Yeah, and you're going to have other experts sitting at the table helping you guys get to a resolution, and those experts being a financial planner. How great would that be to have someone actually sitting there with the books, to look at the checkbook, to look at the numbers? And then, there's always some personal dispute. I don't care if it's in a business setting or in a family setting. How great would it be to have a licensed therapist to say or validate or understand or help those parties through a concept? Lawyers, we sort of do that. I mean, yeah, we're counselors at law, but we're really trained to think logically and to get people to follow that same kind of reasoning.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, it's their axe to grind, not your axe to grind, and so you can maintain a certain level of cool and objectivity, which is part of what a client's paying for.
Exactly, and I look forward to the day this concept can be applied in the civil realm, and just imagine how great it would be for a business to think in a few months they can get to a quick resolution and then move on, so that they can continue making the widgets, selling the services, and making money. That's what they do good.
Yeah, focus on what they really want to do. So when do you think this is going to start happening? Where do you see it happening in Texas?
Well, it's been presented a few times, I'm told. I don't know if it's going to be presented again, but I imagine it should and would. And so hopefully this next legislature, when they meet, which is, not too terribly soon, but it would be nice in the next session that this concept that's worked pretty well in the family setting gets applied in the civil setting.
Is it happening in any other states?
I don't know that answer. I don't. But I can tell you, I went to a continuing legal education about a month or two ago, and one of the lawyers who spoke does just family law and typically does just collaborative law cases. And he said out of, say, 100 cases that he's handled in the collaborative law setting, only 3 actually went to litigation, where he had to step aside and let the client hire a lawyer to then go into the courtroom. 97% of those settled, and I would imagine because it's a kind of a custom idea here so that both parties can do what works for them, 97 of them were probably pretty happy with the outcome.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like
That's
it. Marc Krasney, thanks so much for being with us. KrasneyLawFirm.com. Thanks, buddy.
Thanks, Kevin.
All right, when we come back, much more for you. Stay tuned to it right here on The Price of Business.